over $1 million in repairs. That's how much damage Mick Schumacher has cost the HAAS team so far this season. When Kevin Magnussen sat next to him in the 2022 season, we saw how a HAAS car should be operated, as Mick's talent was generally praised when Mazepin was his teammate. Sure, talent is great, and with the age that Schumacher has, he will be wanted in multiple teams. But with what he's achieved so far, and with the constant crashes, Schumacher may be out sooner rather than later. So, what does the team principal Guenther Steiner think about Schumacher's recent performance? And more importantly, is there a real threat of Schumacher leaving HAAS for another team in the 2023 season? Stick with us until the end of this video, as you might be surprised by Mick's future. HAAS is a team that always had problems with drivers crashing. Prior to Mazepin, Romain Grosjean was the dangerous driver for the team. Nobody liked what they saw at the 2020 finale in Bahrain, as that turned out to be the final point in Grosjean's F1 career. However, the next pair of drivers, Schumacher and Mazepin, promised a lot of potential for the upcoming years. Two young drivers that have a lot to learn and don't really pose a threat to each other seem like a good thing to have on your team. While Mazepin got sacked by the team along with his father's sponsorship through Uralkali due to the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, while Schumacher remained as HAAS driver, 2022 is the season that he has to prove himself worthy of an F1 seat. Things aren't going well for him as of now, especially not with Magnussen performing well in the first couple of races, scoring 15 points for HAAS. Mick is under a lot of pressure, and it's getting to his head. Multiple times he was close to a points finish, such as the situation in Miami this year. However, due to a crash with Vettel, both of them missed out on points. Being several places below P10 isn't Mick's main problem. Finishing the race seems like a bigger challenge for him. Mick has crashed multiple times this season, and the biggest one was in Monaco. For things to be worse for HAAS, Magnussen wasn't able to finish the race too. The Danish driver has also failed to finish the Baku GP due to the reliability issues of the Ferrari engine, so HAAS are in a hard situation now just after their brilliant start of the season. HAAS is currently the leader when it comes to team crashes and money spent on repairments in the 2022 season. Most of the damage came from Mick Schumacher, and it's safe to say that the team principal Guenther Steiner is at the end of his patience regarding the youngster's performance. But is the Monaco GP the sole reason why Steiner's patience with Mick is ending? The answer is no, because in the 2021 season, Mick has crashed very often. At Imola GP, he crashed right after the pit exit, breaking the front wing. He also crashed at the Hungarian GP on Friday, failing to set a lap time due to the severity of the damage he caused. Crashes also happened in the French GP last year at the end of Q1, which resulted in him automatically being disqualified for the rest of the qualifications. At the Mexico GP, Schumacher collided with Ocon and made damage to the rear left suspension. With all of these crashes in 2021, the team principal Steiner has invested his hope in Schumacher regarding the 2022 season. He believes that Mick is on the right path, and he just has the pressure on his shoulders of scoring the first points in his F1 career. But things aren't going well for him as of now. At the moment, obviously we feel it. We can still deal with it, but soon we'll be in a position where we need to find new ways to overcome this, because they're getting a little too frequent and too heavy, said Steiner in 2021 season, when Mick's crashes have become a very frequent event. However, later that year, at one of the last races in Jeddah, Mick crashed hard yet again, proving that the pressure is somehow getting to his head and messing with his performance. Yet again, Steiner wasn't very critically oriented towards Mick and Nikita, who also crashed that weekend. Schumacher has also crashed in the 2022 Jeddah racing week in Q2, and apart from the $1 million repairment costs on the car, Mick has been transferred to the hospital and had to miss the race. He didn't suffer any injury, luckily, but due to the impact of the crash, the team decided to leave him out of the race so he could recover nicely. One could say that the open-minded mindset of Steiner was mostly because HAAS didn't invest in their 2021 car. When the season started, Steiner said that HAAS team will invest in the 2022 car, and 2021 will be a season that'll help Schumacher and Mazepin gain some experience. So their expectation expectations of them were to just drive and learn as much as they can, with crashing the car as little as they can. The latter one seemed like mission impossible for both of them, but due to the low expectations of fans and team principal, criticism didn't really occur as much. The 2022 season started with a blast, and the team brought back Kevin Magnussen in Mazepin's seat. The team has also managed to design a car that is much better compared to the 2021 version, which was proved by the performance of Magnussen in the first couple of races. However, Schumacher is still underperforming and had only a couple of bright spots so far in the season. It's not easy being the son of one of the most successful F1 drivers in the world, and you yourself are an F1 driver. Despite his successful F3 and F2 career, Schumacher isn't able to deliver yet in F1. It's not like the expectations of him are to be in the podium fights, but when you drive a car for a couple of seasons, you'd expect yourself to be at least in the points mix. With the lack of points, along with the constant costly crashes of Schumacher, he's slowly but surely becoming a liability for the HAAS team. Moreover, if he fails to perform on a constant matter with his team, he'll become a persona non grata for other F1 teams too, as the last thing they'd want is a driver that is a potential $1 million damage to their car. This year, the team has a budget of $140,000, and the last thing they want to spend the majority of this money on is repairs. 2 of Mick's crashes this year resulted in him splitting the car into 2 pieces, already costing his team multi-million dollars. The force of the crash in Jeddah caused a loss of data too, as the gearbox was separated from the engine and the radiator duct along with the chassis endured major damage. After the crash, Steiner reported that the team can no longer afford many crashes due to the budget cap, as he said it like this: "Because you have this risk, you have got obviously a contingency out there. But if you have 2 or 3 like your contingency is pretty quickly not a contingency anymore, it's a loss. So you just need to manage. Obviously, I hope we don't have a lot more of them," said Steiner after the horrific crash in Jeddah. Despite this, Mick has made yet another crash in Monaco, which was of a similar nature to the one in Jeddah. Although the speeds in Monaco aren't nearly the same as the ones in Jeddah, Mick still managed to tear apart the car in 2, and this is where Steiner has lost his patience. By the reactions of his eyes and his body language, you could tell that Steiner has had more than enough of these crashes, as 2 of them in the same season is just way too much. With Mick, we obviously saw what happened. It's not very satisfactory having a big crash again. We need to see how we move forward from here, said Steiner, possibly implying that the team may be done for good with Mick. It's important to note that the team may be looking for a driver that has a similar race pace and a consistency to Magnussen. With Mick performing as he is now, rumors about a possible department in another team have emerged. A possible comeback from Antonio Giovinazzi could happen if HAAS decides to go in another direction with Mick Schumacher. His disappointing tempo and crashes could lead to him being sacked from the team, and if Vettel doesn't continue his deal with Aston Martin, that's one team that could have a seat open for him. But that is if the team believes in Mick and thinks he could overcome the pressure on his shoulders. If not, the possibility of Mick not racing in F1 is a real threat to him, as Giovinazzi could replace him as soon as the next season. What do you think is the next step for Mick Schumacher and HAAS? The possibility of him being sacked from the team is real, but do you think the team will do it? Or do you think the team will continue to have faith in Mick? Let us know in the comments below.